When best-selling, multi-prize-winning novelist and screenwriter Caryl Lewis and Wales's top literary editor and translator Gwen Davies come together in this adaptation of a modern-day Gothic mystery, you know you're in for something special. Fans of Hinterland and Winter's Bone, get ready for your new fix of rural noir. Market trader Mary's life in her coastal cottage, alone except for her monkey and her cat, is quiet though stable. But when the market where she runs her thrift stall for vintage clothes and jewellery is threatened with redevelopment, she faces destitution. Mary might seem able to weather such an economic setback, especially since her friend Mo throws her a lifeline, work clearing out dead people's houses. But as Mary is forced by events to turn inwards, it becomes clear that the actions and motives of this small-time jeweller are far darker than anyone could realise. She steals others' papers and photographs, raiding the documents for clues to her own identity and the photos to present a fake family to the outside world. Not only that, but she steals another woman's husband and her son. What else will her failure to respect personal boundaries destroy? This novel's atmospheric West Wales setting, in scenes often timed for sunrise or sunset, is stunningly realised in gorgeous and rich poetic language. The central symbol of cutting and setting an emerald is unforgettably resonant, evoking rivalry, power, artistry and finding one's place. The jeweller is also a powerful reflection on materialism, maternity and surrogacy. It has the sheer flair in language of Dylan Thomas's female counterpart Margaret Evans, the fascination with rites and rituals of Wickerman, and the quiet voyeuristic theme of other people's lives. Wales's top author-translated duo give an unforgettable, unparalleled performance of a woman in her prime, falling at each of life's big transitions, who finally learns to let go and is transformed. Timeless, seamless prose and settings, rewarding reading on the highest level, make this an unrivaled publishing project for these dark times when what we need is literary nourishment. She tipped the Bible onto the floor and took the lid off the box. Out came the soft toys, spilling all over the place. Mary felt heavy and listless. The look in David's eyes was engraved onto her mind. That was the horror of love. Your sweetheart could stick a knife into your eyeball and sharpen it a notch every chance they got. The only thing to save you then was trust that they wouldn't use that power against you. Mary's breathing was sharp and shallow. She snatched the bundle with its hard little core from the depths of the chest. She took the jewel out from shadow and felt its outline through the swaddling. She stood up with creaking bones and took it over to the desk, where she set it in a pool of lamplight. Her hand shook as she opened up the package, a chip of graithcloth green. She cleared a workspace, fetched wax. She began her sacrament by washing the stone in alcohol. She worked quickly, tension tightening soft flesh to muscle and sinew. Her throat had shut fast. She sat down at the old cutting wheel and whipped away the shroud of a sheet that kept it clear of cold and dust. The wheel was smooth. It was an old friend. Mary adjusted the settings so she could start her ministrations. She was all instinct. She lit a candle and dripped wax to fix the stone to the metal spoke. Her tool seemed sterile. She was a surgeon about to take a scalpel to the tiny, cold heart. The flame began to heat the gemstone, and Mary too felt warmed by that old smell of wax. The wheel was baptized in a sprinkling of water. She started at the machine, that turning sound signaling something was about to change shape. The sweat was warm on her back. She tried to still her hands. Closing her eyes to the candlelight, hers was a prayer muttered against the rumble of the revolving wheel. The humming took her up to somewhere far from this room with its unwelcome guest at the window. She sought his help to scour from her brain each inch of that lean white face. Down on the scratching wheel went the emerald's cheek. It let out only a rustle of leaves shimmying in the breeze. Diamonds always whined and howled and clawed like creatures possessed, but the emerald yielded only a whisper. Mary felt the itch of those scabs she had inside her as she methodically set to skinning the gemstone. She was sculptress. She was mistress now, and the woes of the world simply faded out. An eye glowed at her from one side of the dark coal, a green wound aweep with molten lava. The balm of this lustre was bestowed on Mary's own eyes, and she had never felt so calm. Light penetrating a jewel is of the purest kind. Mary felt blessed by its clean reflection. It lit up gold the dust she brushed from the jewel. Any stone has an immanent spirit which can only be seen once a facet is cut. Then you can see the imperfections. The candle guttered in the whoosh of the wheel, which worked on widening the gemstone's window, polishing the surface and also clearing the hurt from Mary's head and heart. She had never felt so unburdened. She was almost drunk on the rustling sound and the flow of light. The window was crystal clear now, no hiding place for any flaws. When the whirring stopped, she blew on the wax to soften it and peeled the gem from its tallow nest, wiping it with an old rag. She turned the machine off at the switch. Silence. Mary's body was weightless, the jewel luminous on her palm as she fetched a glass to magnify its interior. Mary raised the glass and brought the gemstone up to the light. She looked right into the emerald and stared into its own green eye.